Welcome to the Other Tharur podcast. Today we have an acclaimed, award winning scientist and scholar with us whose research on spider sociology won him one of the most prestigious science awards in the world, the Humboldt Fellowship. He's also a keen commentator on race, sociology, and gender through the prism of science. We welcome Dr. Bharat Parthasarathy to our podcast.
Thank you, Madhav, for having me here.
So, so basically, um, you have also you are also a commentator on gender
Mhm,
and gender roles
mhm,
and in basically sociology.
mhm.
So, what do you? So, you have also done research on on how female spiders they behave a particular way while foraging or
Right,
while storing. Foraging means storing food, right?
right,
Trying to collect food.
right,
So they behave a certain way,
right,
and they tend to be more, uh, I mean, self-centered
right,
in a way in which they only they only to take care of themselves and
right,
their offspring.
right.
So I wonder if you can extrapolate it to human society.
Sure. So first, let me briefly tell what we found. So,
Hmm.
of course, this project was I'm a co-author of this paper.
Right.
The experiment of I mean,
Hmm.
the spider is
Hmm.
an Australian subsocial spider.
Hmm. Okay.
What we found is that there are these subsocial spiders.
Hmm.
Subsocial means they live together until they become mature, sexually mature.
Right.
Once they become sexually mature, they
Hmm.
disperse, they move out.
Hmm.
So what we found is we found that some types of spiders
Hmm.
were sharing the food that they got. So these spiders don't live in webs; they ambush. So they actively go and ambush. They get a prey,
Hmm.
and some spiders are much more sharing and caring
Hmm.
to their kin,
Hmm.
and some were just monopolizing the prey. Like
Okay.
this classic case of cooperation versus conflict, right?
Right.
So you want to know who are the cooperators, the ones who would share,
Right.
and who are the defectors. And then we found that males are more likely to cooperate and females are more likely to defect,
Who is it?
which means females are more likely to monopolize the food, not share it with other females or males,
Okay.
whereas males are more likely to share it with other males and females.
But is this behavior only in yours? I mean, the
Well,
species of
there are some
spider.
examples in other animals as well,
Hmm.
but I mean here it was kind of very pronounced,
Hmm.
and the thing of cooperation, right?
Hmm.
So that is where this study is unique because nobody has really shown. Although there are models, theoretical models, which talk about the cost of defection and the benefits of cooperation.
Okay.
Empirically, this was the first study that showed
Hmm.
the costs and the benefits. So the ones who defected, so if there are defectors in a group,
Hmm.
the entire group lost weight because you're not sharing.
Okay.
And if you had cooperators, there were pure cooperator groups
Hmm.
gained weight because you were sharing food. So they all became healthy, right?
Okay.
So this study was very, very unique in that way because we experimentally showed
Hmm.
that cooperators have an advantage and defectors have a cost.
As human females become more economically empowered,
Right.
will they depict or will they start exhibiting the same characteristics on some level, or is it too far fetched?
I think it is too far fetched.
Okay.
We don't exactly know because that
Okay.
is still in.
Okay. That is
So
still.
we have to see that. That's what something what
Yeah.
I'm very
Oh,
sure anthropologists and sociologists are keenly observing.
Okay.
But the fact that there are differences in task participation, in task, performing a task between the genders is well known.
Okay.
So you have tons of animals, examples out there in the animals where males do a different task and the females do a different task.
Okay.
Now, this task participation, this difference between the genders in task participation gets reduced in monogamous animals.
That is.
So monogamous animals are animals which form a pair bond. That is, the male and the female live throughout their life together.
Okay.
Okay, so they don't divorce or they don't.
Oh, there are animals like.
There are some animals like that.
Okay.
Like
So
seahorses, for example.
Uh,
Okay, and then you have some these pigeons.
okay.
Of course, there are also.
They are for all intents and purposes they are married.
Yes, they don't change partners, so they live together throughout the life.
Right.
And of course, they are a minority. The vast majority of animals are polygamous, which
Hmm.
is the opposite of monogamous, which means
Hmm.
that they have many multiple sexual partners
Right.
in their lifetime.
In that, there's no task difference.
So yes, so in monogamous animals, the task differences between the sexes become less.
Oh.
So not only just differences in task,
Hmm.
but every difference between a male and a female becomes very less in monogamous animals. For example, a male and a female would look very similar in
Hmm.
monogamous animals.
Okay.
You have to look at the genital to know who's a male, who's a female. They would look very similar.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
And the roles also, the gender roles,
Hmm.
the sex roles in case of animals
Hmm.
is also very similar. Both the male invest because they are monogamous, right?
Okay.
In polygamous animals, you don't see those kind of similar gender, more egalitarian gender roles. You see males are doing some other job like
Hmm.
defending territory
Hmm. So
and
there is strong roles in the
there
animal.
are strong. The vast majority of animals show
Strong roles between the two genders.
between the two sexes.
Two sexes.
We can't say genders in
Okay.
animals. Yeah,
Two sexes.
between the two sexes. So it is not surprising that humans also had this gender role in the past.
Okay.
That is not something that is very surprising from an evolutionary point of view.
Okay.
But of course, now with technological advancements,
Hmm.
that gap between the sexes is now getting more and more equalized
Hmm.
because of the way that, it's not just technology, but also the way the society is moving forward.
Hmm.
So now we have to see how, what the implications of this are. That will be very interesting from a scientific point of view.
So another huge cultural phenomenon which is happening is the LGBT
Right.
movement.
Mm-hmm.
So does it have any kind of relevance in the natural world? Is there
Mm-hmm.
any kind of such do animals exhibit such kind of behavior?
Yes, so there are
Or-
some animals which show gay behavior.
Hmm.
So that is again well documented.
Hmm.
Pigs, for example, are known to be,
Hmm.
there are gays which are there in pigs.
Okay.
But so that this is again an evolutionary paradox, because what does evolution say? It says that the gene has to propagate,
Right.
and if you look at some hardcore biologists like Richard Dawkins, who have a very gene centric view,
Hmm.
they consider the body as a vehicle that carries genes.
Okay.
Right.
Hmm.
So, for example, this age-old question: if you were to ask Richard Dawkins which came first, an egg came first or the chicken came first,
Hmm.
he says no, it doesn't matter. He would probably say it doesn't matter
Okay.
because uh, a chicken is an egg's way of making more eggs.
Okay.
So one egg has to become 10 eggs,
Hmm.
and how does it do? It goes through a chicken.
Yeah.
So the egg becomes a chicken, and then
Hmm.
that one egg becomes another 10 eggs, right?
Right.
But gays, they don't, of course, they can't reproduce naturally.
Hmm.
Today, there are some surrogacy and all
Hmm.
those, but definitely the animals, the gay animals cannot reproduce.
Hmm.
So, what is the evolution of this gay behavior? Why should gay behaviors evolve?
Hmm.
And it seems to be a little bit stable. So, for example, in any population, there is approximately roughly 8 to 10% of gay behavior.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, again, we don't know. There are some hypotheses. For example, it could be that, some uncles, for example, stayed back
Hmm.
instead of going out in search of mate.
Hmm.
They stayed back and then they helped their niece and nephews, because niece and nephews also have their genes.
Hmm.
So they were getting some indirect benefits,
Hmm.
right? Because either you can reproduce yourself
Hmm.
or you can, help your close relatives
Hmm.
in reproducing. So that's what JBS Haldane, this famous scientist who lived in India,
Okay.
he said that I would rather save 4 cousins
Hmm.
than one full brother.
Okay.
Right? Because 4 cousins, more in number. A cousin is on an average related to you by, for first cousin is related by 25%.
Hmm.
A brother on an average, or brother or sister is related to you by 50%.
Hmm.
So if you're saving 4 cousins, that means that you're saving 100% of your genes.
Hmm.
Whereas if you save one brother or sister, you're only saving 50% of your gene.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, so of course we have moved, but the point what I'm trying to say is what keeps the gay behavior
Mm.
at an evolutionary stable strategy is what we don't know. Why should gay behaviors evolve?
Mm.
One hypothesis is the uncle hypothesis that I said,
Mm.
that the uncle gets the indirect benefits, like what I said, no, JBS Aldrin would save 4 cousins than one.
Yeah.
So here they would probably help their sisters' children, not brothers' children, mostly sisters' children,
Sisters'
because
children.
a woman is sure that about her parentage,
Mm.
right? In polygamous animals, a father is never sure.
Father is a question mark.
It's a question mark, right?
Mm.
So that's the reason why always these uncles,
Mm.
okay, made sure that they stayed back, they helped their sisters to have more children.
Mm.
But how will that particular behavior be inherited?
Mm. Okay.
It may not be directly inherited, but it can be indirectly inherited through the, because the sister is also going to share some genes with the brother
Right.
who's a gay. So there could be some indirect inheritance. And as expected, it's also likely to be a complex interplay between
But
the
there is
genes and the environment.
But there is no chance of gay LGBTs crossing a 30 or 40% mark. I mean, there is no
I don't
biological
think so. I mean,
chance because
if you look at the, it seems to have been stable. It seems to be around 8 to 10%. Gays, I don't know about the lesbians and I'm not talking about that. I don't think it is going to increase in frequency.
So any increase in frequency could be just a, I don't know, societal.
It could be so there could be
influence or construct or whatever.
Yes, could be, right?
Okay.
So also, like, there are some examples. I think I was watching one podcast where they were interviewing one person who was gay, and he said that when he was very young, he was molested by a male, and that might have driven his.
Okay.
So it's a very complex thing, So it's not something that is very simple to delineate.
But when it comes to animals, almost every animal in vast amount of species, they do perform their duty of reproduction, right? They do not remain solely, even if they do exhibit some level of homosexual maybe sex or something, but they do not forego the duty of reproduction with another female, right? Or do they remain isolated?
So again, it's again the choice to reproduce is also heavily dependent on the environment, right? So if the environmental conditions are not really good, favorable, then most animals don't reproduce. Now, I don't know if they're consciously foregoing reproduction. That we don't know, because we don't know if animals have consciousness. Of course, they do behave in ways that is suggestive that they do have consciousness, but scientifically we don't know, right? Or we don't even know we have consciousness scientifically.
Okay.
Right? But whether they consciously forego, we don't know. But environmental factors, yes. So if the environmental factor is bad, the environmental conditions are bad, then animals don't reproduce. They kind of save up that energy and the cost of reproduction.
Will that reflect on humans as well? I mean, when things are bad, will we stop or will we drop, or is it?
Well, it seems that humans are taking a different route, because when the environmental condition, or at least when the economic conditions are good, humans seem to reproduce less.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You go to all these lower income and middle income countries, they have more what is that birth ratios, right? Whereas you see high income countries, there's a drastic reduction in population, right? So it suggests that humans, we are taking another route where if the environmental conditions become too favorable, reproduction becomes more difficult. Okay. Difficult means finding a mate or finding a partner becomes more complicated, because now there are many other things like compatibility and all that, right?
So when times are tough, definitely everything else will take a back seat and we reproduce more. Is that what you're saying?
Not among animals. That is what among humans. That is what that's what the data shows, right? Okay. I mean, it is well known that people in poverty reproduce more. Right? Okay. Now we don't know whether they don't have money for contraceptives. That could be a reason, but there could also be other reasons. Because this idea that having a child brings some solace or some religious reasons or whatever.
Okay. So, coming to science in general, I'll ask you a cut and dry question.
Mm-hmm.
Say um, there is a graduate
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to become a scientist, or he wants to do his PhD and become a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And if he asks you,
Mm-hmm.
would you want to become? Would I do justice, or would as a career should I take science or should I go into industry?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell him?
Well, it depends on the individual's interest.
Hmm.
So, to be in science, one has to be very passionate
Hmm.
if one wants to have a career in science,
Hmm.
because it's not easy. Because usually one ends up embarking on a journey of PhD
Hmm.
at the prime,
Hmm.
right? So, in India, usually people enroll for a PhD program at 23, 24, 25,
Hmm.
and they finish it when they are 30, 31, 32,
Okay.
right? So, it takes that 5 years.
Hmm.
And this is a time where somebody is at the peak of youth,
Hmm.
where they would like to have a lot of things, they would want to enjoy, they want to
Hmm.
buy some things for themselves.
Hmm. Okay. So anything you would like to the central government to kind of make some changes, or
Yeah,
any
so as a scientist we
as a
all have this.
scientist, anything which you are facing some
Yeah, so as you can ask, as any scientist, we all
hmm.
ask for more funding,
Hmm.
right? So we need more funding, has to be allocated
Okay.
for so that is a complaint that everybody would have.
Right.
Of course, this is India is also not that resourceful in terms of economy, but
Hmm.
still it is doing good.
Hmm.
Probably they can increase the funding, and definitely they have to start more research institutions.
Hmm. So as an evolutionary biologist, where do you see humans actually evolving into? Do you have any idea?
That's a very tough question, because usually
I mean, is it what the science fiction says? Are we moving into a more android kind of a half machine, half human, or you think we will
well, one thing.
integrate ourselves with technology so much, or
Yeah.
whether we are going to, get some other characteristics, some other physical character? Do you have any?
Physical characteristics, I don't see why some other, like a third nose or a second nose or a or a third hand, I don't see why it
Okay.
should pop up until there is going to be some big advantage of having it.
Okay.
Okay.
No other. We're going to remove that.
What the data clearly shows is nowadays
Hmm.
our attention span has reduced drastically.
Okay.
So earlier, people, if they were able to concentrate without getting distracted
Hmm.
for something like 12 minutes on an average
Hmm.
in one stretch,
Hmm.
now that has reduced to under 7 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So that is one thing that we are seeing. So now
Okay.
that is not a big enough change to call it an evolution.
Okay.
So these are, because there's also a lot of adaptation. Humans are also adaptable, right?
Okay.
But one thing, the change as such, what you see is that there is a reduction in the human attention levels, mainly because of social media.
Oh.
Social media, especially reels, these short reels, 10-second, 20-second reels, it's a killer, because it makes us to practice distraction.
Right.
We are practicing distraction by constantly getting distracted by seeing short 10 seconds, 15 seconds reels,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
So but apart from that, I think humans are very good in going hand to hand with technology,
Okay.
right?
You don't find ourselves integrating too much. I mean, we
No,
are.
I would say that we are.
Hmm.
So I would say that we are integrating a lot, and we are very good at it.
Okay.
Especially if you look at from the technological age for the last 150, 200
Hmm.
years,
Hmm.
we have done an amazing job in integrating with technology,
Hmm.
right? So technology is something that has become hand in hand.
Hmm.
Computers have become a part of our lives.
So in most of the animal kingdom, you have various animal species in which the males are more decorative and more they pride themselves on their beauty, and they, like, lions have manes, peacocks have the feathers, and their peacock dance. So how do female I mean, but in human beings you have a total opposite, in which the females are supposed to be the more attractive, of the species, and they pride themselves on taking care of their bodies, and they contribute to the cosmetic industry. So how do you? So why this dichotomy only among human beings, but in animals it's more varied?
That's a good question. So your observation regarding that males generally in animals, in other animals, non-human animals, have more of these ornaments to attract females is correct. As you said, lions have these manes. Male elephants have tusks, and these are investment from the male side to attract a female.
Okay.
Whereas the female investment begins after she has copulated with the male,
Okay.
in terms of carrying her the offspring in the womb or laying eggs. So the investment from on the female side always begins after copulation, whereas for a male the investment begins before copulation.
Right.
Now in humans, that's a very good question. So your question is why humans, it's the females who are using cosmetics and not males, right? There could be several reasons. Now if you see some tribes in Africa, they actually go behind attracting females.
Right.
They go chasing, okay, like in the vast majority of other animals, what they do.
Okay.
But then I think this has got to do with a shift in from tribal to a city town urbanization. So if you look at like thousands of years ago, when kingdoms started forming, when people started settling down in one place, then the emphasis was more that a man has to
provide and
be a provider, and so where the strength is more about emotional strength for the man, physical strength, right? And whereas the female started more, the emphasis for the female was to beautify herself to keep the man, because human society is basically like so remember what I said between monogamous and polygamous animals. Monogamous animals are those which live with their partners throughout their life. And the difference between a male and the female there is very less. And even in terms of physical appearance, you have to look at the genitals. Without looking at the genitals, you can't tell a male apart from a female. Whereas if you see polygamous animals, you have all these differences, like the mane of a lion. A lion is a polygamous animal, right? Not all polygamous animals, but most polygamous animals, yeah. For example, dogs are polygamous, but again, there's no big difference between a male dog and a female dog. That's for example, right? So humans, again, just by looking at our appearance, we can say that we are sort of polygamous, because men have beard, and there's obvious physical difference, and there is a difference in role. There was gender roles. Now it's of course diminishing. So
as gender roles decrease, will females become less invested in kind of cosmetics? And
that's again a very good question. So that's what we would think, right? Because if the gender role is going to become zero, right? If there's no difference between a male and a female in terms of roles, you would expect that all these cosmetics and beautification to take a backseat.
Yeah, true.
Right? So coming back, so human beings are basically polygamous, but then having a monogamous relationship is advantageous. Because if you think of it this way, if you look at any other animal, the moment it is born, it is able to walk, it is able to stand up.
Right.
But a human baby is very vulnerable. Right? It needs 2 years, 3 years to develop, and then it takes 18 years for it to become an adult.
Yeah.
For it to get a driving license. So, therefore, having a monogamous relationship where the mother and the father live together, stick on together, is advantageous for the children.
Okay.
For the children's development. Right? So that is what is, so probably, so the female also wants to keep the man. So there is this thing of cosmetics, and probably there could also be female competition.
That's a very interesting.
Right? So that could also be a factor. Right?
There is this movement of vegetarianism.
Right.
But vast amount of human beings.
Right.
They go in. They are vast amount of all species.
Right.
Are non-vegetarian, or they eat meat.
No, actually,
I mean they are divided, but a lot of, at least our closest cousins,
right,
answer like apes and
Right.
monkeys and mammals in general,
Right.
at least they do consume a
Yeah.
lot of meat.
Yeah.
So what is your take on that? I mean, what is
So evolutionary biology has got pretty good insights on the diets. So just to go back on what you said, the vast amount of animals are vegetarians
is it?
because you can't have a big amount of non-vegetarians, right?
Then yeah, the
It
balance.
the balance is not there. So it's a food chain. It's a
Yeah.
pyramid,
No, I'm
right?
talking about mammals. I guess.
Yeah, in mammals again, you have a lot of them are vegetarians. A lot of them.
Right.
And there could also be a lot of them who are kind of facultatively non-veg eating, which means that they're omnivorous,
Right.
right? But if you look at what is comparative anatomy and comparative physiology has taught us, is humans are highly adaptable. Okay, humans are very adaptable in our diet, and that's a reason why there are Eskimos who eat fish and who survived in polar regions, right? So human diet is highly adaptable. But then if you look at it only from the point of view of comparative anatomy or comparative physiology, if you compare an omnivores, I'm not comparing a carnivore here. If you compare an omnivore with a herbivore, then it appears that the human more falls towards a vegetarian spectrum. I'll tell you why. If you see all vegetarian animals, mammals, they have two breasts. I'm not talking about teats. Cow has 4 teats, right? Nipples, but 2 breasts. Mammary glands are 2.
Okay.
Humans have 2.
Right.
Any omnivorous animal like a dog or a cat has 6, right? Or 8. The idea is because they also carry more litter. So they have more children, they are pregnant with more uh, offspring at the same time. That's why they have more breasts, right?
Okay.
Whereas if you look at vegetarians, they give birth to 1 or maximum 2 at a time,
Okay.
right?
Which is similar to humans.
Which is again similar to humans. Now, again, if you look at the weaning time, again, humans are very similar to vegetarians, which have a longer weaning time because vegetarians can afford to have longer weaning times.
Right.
Omnivores have to go and hunt, look for food, so they have to be quick in their thing.
But what about their relation with their, like I told you, our closest relatives are the apes, but they seem to be predominantly omnivorous.
Right.
So wouldn't we maybe
Except the gorilla. So the gorilla is vegetarian. Chimpanzees are they eat meat, right? Orangutans, not sure. But again, so what I would probably think is again, apes also have 2 breasts and.
They also reproduce very
right. So again, so this is where adaptation is very complex. So there was definitely most recent. I mean, not the most recent, but there was an ancestor which was probably a vegetarian, which had all these vegetarian characteristics like 2 breasts, and
they adapted.
And then with changing habitats and colonizing newer environments, there was a shift back into a non-veg diet. Also, if you look at the length of the intestine, long intestine is very long.
Okay.
Right? And vegetarians have a very long intestine. But of course, humans don't have this ability to digest cellulose. Oh. So which means we were definitely not eating, at least the ancestor, which was a vegetarian, was definitely not eating grass and plants. Probably more on a frugivorous diet, like fruits and nuts.
But what about all other cultures? Like even you take any hunter-gatherer culture, like all the tribals,
right.
They are all predominantly non-vegetarian.
Right.
So wouldn't that be
that's what I'm saying,
precursor to us? I mean, that wouldn't. I mean, since we have all come from tribal societies,
right,
in any part of the world or in Africa,
right?
Wouldn't we all be?
That's what. So as humans, yes. So we are adaptable. I mean, not just as humans. As I said, if we go a step back, even apes, which eat meat, which are non-vegetarians, right? They have also adapted to a omnivorous diet. Right? Because that has helped them to survive.
Okay.
But they have not lost the characteristics, the physiology, and the comparative, the anatomy. They're still closer to a vegetarian in terms of the anatomy and purely by the biological characteristics.
Right.
But the eating is a habit. It's a behavior. Behaviors are more flexible. It can change. Right? Whereas things like the length of your intestine, having 2 breasts, and these are much more, they don't change that easily. It takes a long time for it to change, right? So probably the common ancestor of the apes might have been a vegetarian, which had all these characteristics,
Very interesting.
and also sweat. Uh, uh, not just the long intestine. Also, if you look at the how we stand on our feet. We don't flex. Whereas if you
Oh,
look at omnivores like cats and dogs,
mm,
they flex when they stand.
okay.
Right? I can go on. There are
Mm.
so many uh,
But we
similarities
don't
with,
behave like cows either, right? I mean,
yeah.
we don't. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly. So
complicated.
it's complicated, but the thing is, we are highly adaptable.
Mm.
Um, Although the body, if you do a comparative anatomy, we lie more on the herbivore spectrum. We are closer to
Okay.
vegetarians,
Okay.
animals in the spectrum.
Thank you for such an interesting and enlightening conversation.
Thank you very much, Madhav, for having me here. It was a pleasure having this conversation.
So, Dr. Parthasarathy has given us a dummy's guide to his views on gender, race, and sociology, and and more importantly, his research. Uh, let's hope to have many more such interesting personalities on my podcast, and see you next time. Thank you.